drive through the night through Nevada and stopped at an Elko Denny's, and that was the single worst meal I
Hello and welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena, where we are primed to get started on the official Week 1 of PEC Spring with some Overwatch 2 action. And tonight's matchup, Boise State will look to stand strong at the top of the standings against a University of Utah squad that wants to break out from the middle of the pack. Broncos versus the Utes, it starts right here, right now. I am Danner Hill. I'm going to be your host for the evening, covering everything about Overwatch. And alongside me, I do have Bryce Jansen, my analytics for the night. How are we doing?
Doing pretty well, Danner. How about yourself?
It's going to be a great night. I'm always excited to cast a little bit of Overwatch, a little bit out of my realm, but not anything I can't handle.
Hey, you always got to be open to a few new experiences. And what's the best new experience? I mean, it's obviously Overwatch. I mean, probably, in your opinion, not quite as good as Rocket League, but I mean, this is my element. We do your element on Monday nights. If you don't tune in, you should, because Rocket League is always really fun. And you know how you can also figure out when we're actually going live on Rocket League? By following our social media pages.
Social medias. Yes. Our socials are Boise State Esports OW on X and Instagram. If you guys want to go along and follow those for anything Overwatch related, you guys can follow along and stay up to date with what happens here at the Boise State Esports Arena, especially for the Overwatch.
Oh, yeah, and one other thing to make distinct, we actually have a social media page on both X and Instagram for all of our games. Whether you're an Overwatch enjoyer, a Rocket League enthusiast, a Valorant follower, or a Smash Bros connoisseur, there is a page for you. So make sure that you follow up on your favorite games, or better yet, follow us up on all of them. Pushes the algorithm for us a little more, allows us to get to more people, and it's always fun to cast to a large crowd. But starting to look at some of the fall standings, not a ton has changed from where we were sitting at the back of the fall semester. Syracuse, Ohio State, Boise State, kind of sitting in that trifecta. As we talked about a little bit last week, there's sort of a little bit of a rock, paper, scissors match going on in there.
Okay, and I like to see this, though, when it's like this top three teams. It's not like definitive, like, oh, here's your number one, and they can beat anybody. You kind of have this trifecta where it can bounce between a lot of these teams. Like I've been told, what was it, Syracuse beat Ohio, Ohio beat Boise, or no?
Oh, it was actually the other way around.
Other way around?
Yeah, so Boise State beat Ohio State beat Syracuse, and then Syracuse beat Boise State.
There it is.
One other thing to add, Boise actually has an extra win on this tally, thanks to the game against Nebraska last week.
Our week 0,
yeah,
that's right.
Our week 0. We were the only ones who ended up playing that game, so it has not quite been added to the standings. So realistically, it's 6-2, but it's officially going to be 6-2 tonight, or hopefully against Utah. I mean, I can't count them out. They did get a map on us last time we played.
They did indeed. It was a 3-1 adventure last time. But now we have to look towards the rest of the...
sort of hang in there with the big leagues. However, Ohio State is a very, very solid team this year, and I don't see Minnesota edging out the win from them. Now, what game I would really like to see is the Jayhawks versus the Orange, but unfortunately, bye, they're all gone.
Not this week, but maybe in a future week we can look towards that match. But first, we got to get into our rosters. We have Jonathan Foraker, Cannon Miller, Carter Jones, Will Hess, Jenny Cummins, and Amanda Bailey for the side of Boise State.
Yeah, a team that we've gotten to know and really appreciate over the past few weeks. Also, something to note, Jenny Cummins, a.k.a. Daydream. Oh, yep, Mark Thana. We almost forgot about him because he's just not on the roll. But then Doc Haskell, both of them also on the team. We get to see him again. I would like to point out that Daydream currently leads the league on PEC.org in damage with 1.3 million damage according to League OS. But
we will get into that in just a moment, though. But before that, we got to know how to win an Overwatch game, and that is by following Doc's keys to the game. And in Overwatch, it is win the 1v1s, when they were unprepared, and when they are unprepared, position your supports.
Yeah, when they're unprepared, you got to position your supports.
When they're unprepared, they're unprepared.
They are unprepared.
But regardless, I mean, elaborate on that. What, 1.3 million damage? Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, I would like to point out that our Doc's keys to the game are brought to you guys by Blue Ribbon Painting, one of our great sponsors of 90 years. Multi-generational painters who are looking to level up your home. Visit blueribbonpainting.net for more information. But moving back towards that 1.3 million damage number, I think I have a theory as to why it's that high. See, Overwatch is a funky game. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. There's a lot of stuff going on in the internal code. And there's currently, or I guess currently, it's been in the game for like 8 years and it still hasn't been fixed. But Ana has a very weird trick with her nano boost where if you boost a diva or something or any sort of ultimate that does death damage, then what ends up happening is all of the damage that comes from that ultimate, like from the very center where it's going to do the maximum amount of damage, gets attributed to the Ana in her damage count. It also gets attributed to the mitigation count as well, but sometimes that doesn't go through. That's a lot less consistent. So I believe that is why Daydream is so high on the standings currently, beating out every single DPS in the league by at least a factor of 10, which is very odd to think about, but also very funny to watch in practice. So very interesting. Also, on the topic of standpoints with current standings, 3 of Boise State's players currently hold the top 3 spots in most eliminations throughout the series. That would be Strider, Maxwell, and Clear in that order. Something to note, Clear has not been in half of the games this semester, or in the last semester. In 4 games, he has managed to hit the same amount of eliminations as everyone else.
And I think when I was looking at those stats earlier with you, Clear has been able to get 275 eliminations over the course of those games. And the next person below him has 180. That's a factor of 95 eliminations separating them in places, and that just shows, that level of skill that Boise State brings to the table. That level of skill that Doc Haskell has been able to coordinate and bring together here tonight. And we're going to be seeing all 5 of those players on stage, getting ready to go against the University of Utah here in a best of 5.
It also looks like we're going to be seeing another face that we don't get to see a whole lot. I mean, you guys get to see him on desk every now and again, but that would be Zach Munson, front and center, the Freya player on the Boise State esports team. I mean, along with a few others, but I mean, he is the Freya. He's giving me the thumbs up right now. He is the guy that you want to call if you want to play a hit scan. I mean, obviously, I think Maxwell might dispute him on that one. I mean, he's fairly fond of the hit scan himself, but I guess it'll be a battle of the hit scan players to see who gets the most playtime tonight. But it's someone we don't get to see a whole lot of, and it's someone who is always fun to get up and watch.
It always is fun to see Zach out there on stage, but just kind of looking at this third-person view, looking on a few more players to join up, especially from the side of Utah. I mean, we're kind of approaching this match, and I'm getting antsy. Like I said, I don't get to cover Overwatch that much, but I'm excited. I get to see this new side of the world.
Yeah, it's definitely one side of the world to behold. It's a lot of stuff that goes on all at once. I mean, we're used to doing Rocket League together. That's pretty much all action all the time. Yeah. You got something going on at all points. Rocket League or Overwatch is kind of similar, except you do get a little bit of downtime here and there. It's very kind of in the middle of the two extremes between like Valorant and Rocket League, where you have no action and then 10 seconds of everything is happening.
Everything is happening.
To everything is always everything everywhere all at once is always happening. So it's a good middle ground, but when the action does happen, it tends to take a little bit, especially depending on the meta. Luckily, we are not in one of those metas. We're not in the nobody dies meta, so I'm very happy about that. We love support players. We love support metas. However, I don't like to see Malga every single game.
Malga. I feel like a lot of those tanks that are coming out, I feel like a lot of times I see like Roadhog or Wrecking Ball or Diva, the usual ones.
Yeah, the usual ones. Wrecking Ball is in a kind of an odd spot, if I'm being honest. We see it a lot with this team because it is Strider's bread and butter, his perfectly charred toast, if you will. But you don't see it a whole lot out of a lot of teams. We did see a little bit of a resurgence in Wrecking Ball towards the end of last semester. However, Wrecking Ball metas are really, really hard at this phase of the game because you either know how to play Wrecking Ball or you don't, and there is really no in-between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like Wrecking Ball, all the footage and gameplay that I've seen is them just hooked onto a side of a building, waiting, lurking like a bat in the night. And then once they see it's fit, they come crashing down like an actual Wrecking Ball. And sure enough, they get some damage and some kills, and they do what tanks do best.
They sure live up to their name, if anything. I mean, they also live up to being a rat because for something so large, you would not expect the survivability of a character like that to be as good as it is. And a lot of teams fail to really realize when they need to get out and when they need to go back in, but that's something that Boise State kind of figured out a long time ago, how to keep their core supports and maybe a DPS away from their main damage dealers, in usually who's Clear and Strider. But I mean, we see Maxwell on Tracer a lot of times as well, and it's a really fun sight to watch. A lot of teams don't know how to do it. A lot of teams don't know how to play against it. You're essentially fighting on two different fronts, and that is a lot to get your head around, especially if you're not used to it.
Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, we were starting off in a control map on this first one. Now, I mean, I know what control is. You're fighting for those points. You try to get as much control as possible, and just like that, we're going to be seeing Busan as our first map. That one, what are your thoughts on the first map pick?
So they actually don't get to pick this one. This one's pre-picked for them, just to set the stage. And Busan, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think it's a good kind of middle ground. It shows off a lot of the strengths of a lot of different characters. You can pretty much play whatever you want into this map, and you will find some success depending on the map you choose. It's not my personal favorite. I love Ilios. I love the well, Roadhog. Hook him in the hole. That's the best. That is the best part about control maps in Overwatch. But I understand we can't have PEC all the time, otherwise PEC wouldn't be PEC. So
yeah,
I feel like this map in particular is going to come down to bans. We know what Boise State likes to play. Utah knows what Boise State likes to play. Heck, they played them really, really close on Wrecking Ball. I'd like to point out there's a player by the name of No Sam on the side of Utah who has played a lot of Wrecking Ball as well. Actually matched Strider very, very well in the map they ended up winning against Boise State last time. And overall, I think that Wrecking Ball is going to be kind of a detriment to ban for both teams. I mean, less so for Boise State, the Zarya on Strider. Not to glaze Strider too much, but Zarya is pretty good.
Their numbers are up for a reason. They're topping these leaderboards for a reason in the PEC. They're making sure that they are the ones taking home these trophies and these accolades, that they are the best of the best, and they're going to be proving it here tonight in our official Week 1 against the University of Utah. And just looking forward, I mean, little bit of a bye next week, a little bit of a cold break, and then they'll come back in the week after against Baylor. But I think that this is still it's a good start to the season to just warm up and get your players ready.
Yeah, especially since you already got those. You'll already have those 2 games in with playing Nebraska in Week 0. You're going to be at the same point in the pack as everybody else. I mean, it is a little bit of a shame that Michigan doesn't have a Overwatch team. I mean, we've seen them against Rocket League. We've seen them against in Valorant, and they play those teams really, really close. Valorant, Rocket League, Smash Bros, all of them, we've seen them play. They've been really good rivals to us in all those games. Come on, Michigan. You got to get yourself an Overwatch team. I want to watch you guys play Overwatch just a little more, but it won't come to fruition this time. But I do agree with you. Keeping that momentum flowing, getting them ready to go, that's where you want to be.
Yeah, and I mean, looking forward to this. I think the players are rearing to go. I know we are. Kind of been sitting here yapping for a little bit, but I think as soon as we get into this game, it's going to be high-flying action. I don't think they're going to be wasting any time. I think they're going to be taking this moment to think to themselves, finalize that game plan that I'm sure they've had on standby this whole time. They've been thinking about how they want to approach this first map, how they want to approach these players, and looking at the third-person view again. It looks like we have everybody in the lobby, so should be getting going here soon. I wonder if they're just finishing up
picks and bans, probably. Yeah,
probably picks and bans. I'm wondering, who do you think is going to be banned?
If I were to take a guess, last time we saw this map played, it was Tracer Kiriko. And I would like those bans just because they both work very, very well. I am completely wrong. It is Winston and Vendetta, 2 characters that are pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Vendetta was a lot better before the nerf that she got fairly recently with the new season that came out. However, she's still a very solid pick. I got to talk with a few of the players last week. Vendetta is one of those characters whose skill ceiling is so high, she's kind of in the same spot as Wrecking Ball. You can't really nerf her damage-wise because her mechanics are so good that if you put in enough time, you're just always going to be good at Vendetta. The Winston ban is very confusing, if I'm going to be 100% honest. Diva ban would make a lot more sense on a map like this. You have a lot more control of high and low ground, but, I mean, Diamond Dog plays a lot of Winston. Maybe she's in for the tank role this time around. She's kind of our resident Winston. Clear plays a lot of Winston as well for Nosebleed Esports, if you want to check them out. I don't have any links for you, but I bet you if you look it up with OWCS starting back up here pretty quick, that will be available in some form. But we got 2 players who do like to play Winston, but Clear likes to play a lot more Diva, and we most of the time see him on DPS. Maybe we'll see a little bit of Diamond Dog on a different character. Maybe. We don't know.
Maybe. I mean, that's what these next few minutes are going to tell us. Once we get into this match, we're going to be seeing who's on who, what kind of characters we're going to be seeing going into this first map. It's going to be a control, so it's obviously going to be high-flying offense and attacking right off the bat. It's not going to be like a flashpoint where you have to travel to different points every now and then, or even a control where it's just you're getting your steps in across the map. No, it's get to the center of the map, fight for it, and make sure you can get that first point and also the first win of a best-of-5 as we get going into Game 1, Boise State versus the University of Utah on Busan for a start controlling map.
I tell you what, this is going to be a really interesting one. Busan is one of those maps that you can't really force any character into. I said it during the previous one, you can kind of run whoever you want. That really depends on what maps you start with. Wrecking Ball is really good on 2 out of the 3, but you hit Mecha Base, which is the really enclosed one. It makes it really hard to run a character that relies on so much free movement. However, you get to a spot like City Center, which, if our fly-in is to be believed, that might be where we're going, but it gives you a lot more room to run, it gives you a lot more room to play with, and overall, you have a lot more angles to attack from, and that is what the hamster loves to see.
A hamster loves to see, and just like that, with the bans, I mean, we absolutely could be seeing a hamster in this first game if we get Wrecking Ball. We're going to be looking to try and see how this is going to play out.
Starting off with Mecha Base, though. Very nice. Very nice.
Very nice indeed.
Yep, I can hear
we're going to go. We're going to go for it. There it is.
Straight into it. Strider pushing up with the Zarya, actually taken down fairly low thanks to Teddy Apaya, but he's going to just get melted by Maxwell on the Bastion. That is what you want to see, a little bit of clear on the Symmetra as well. We've been seeing that a lot more out of this season than we have in the past, as PDK and Teddy Apaya both swap characters, not really content on what they're playing. And what is that crosshair?
Well, it's getting them killed, so we're not going to question that right now, as Boise State is holding down point, and right now they just got to fight these characters that are coming in really fast. Actually, the good little push. I mean, Boise State was able to hold them through those doorways for a little bit, but now that everyone's been able to get through and start making pushes towards this site, you're going to be trying to collect it, and they are actually halfway to claiming it. Boise State needs to get on to try to contest this, but no, University of Utah is going to get through this and able to get sight for just a moment, if anything, before kills start to rain through. Some damage goes through Zarya versus Zarya, and it's going to be the side. And it's going to be Strider that's going to get that kill over them, reclaiming the point, or attempting to at least.
Yeah, Utah was able to get the point, but they sacrificed the high ground in order to do it. I'm not sure that's what PDK intended, because he got down to capture the point, but unfortunately, No Sam and Ray also got forced down due to Strider just providing so much pressure to him. Portal does come out. Teddy Apia, I'm not quite sure how to say it, but PDK is going to find Clear just poking his head out.
Sometimes you only need a head to see before a kill can come through, but just like that, Maxwell is going to be fighting back to try to get back with the team before he gets killed by Sonic. And now Boise State is the team that's getting pushed back. Once again, Zarya v Zarya, but no, a few more try to trickle in, and now Boise State's the one on the defensive here. They're the ones being pushed back. Got to fight for some health and make sure the whole team is with them.
Yeah, looking at ultimate charge too as well, Boise State has a fairly significant ult advantage. Sonic is coming up on his sound barrier. However, Lyric already has his. Daydream and Ray both looking to use theirs up fairly quick, but Teddy Apaya has his blade ready to go with Overclock here pretty quick. It is going to be an ult up fight as both Kitsune Rush are traded. Same with the sound barrier into the Graviton Surge. So every ult except for Teddy Apaya's is out. Clear PDK, both of them going down. Both supports out of Boise State gone as well. Not before the wall comes out of Clear. That is going to be a fight win for Utah. Boise State holding on to 2 ults though. However, I would like to point out, Utah has a very strong DPS ult in their pocket. Daydream is going to have to be very careful putting out this Kitsune Rush.
They're going to have to time that one perfectly, as University of Utah have taken the advantage here, 66% and counting on the point. Boise State need to make a push now if they want to have any sort of chance. Damage going out, and the ult is going to come out from Teddy Apaya. They're going to be able to get 1, 2 on that. Could we try to fighting for a third? Not going to happen before they get taken out by Lyric. And now it's Boise State contending this point, trying to get it indeed, but still, they need to be quick about it. University of Utah still claiming percentage on this and looking to almost take it.
Yeah, Lyric feeling the music, is able to get right back up to it, is able to allow somebody to get back, but double kill onto Boise State's DPS lineup. Maxwell going to be swapping back over to the Sojourn. Lots of pressure being put onto Daydream in the back line. No Sam going to fall to Clear, or going to fall as well to Strider. The better Zarya has been made known, but Teddy Apaya is still pressuring out the back line, finding Daydream once again. Ray goes down, but is he going to die? Traded out at the very end. Lyric and PDK in a death match, but PDK is going to fall, finding Lyric, but Boise State gapping the point just to end it out.
Huge for Boise State, able to stay alive in this match, now approaching the 70% mark. This is what they want. They want to try to take this one outright. They don't want to lose another game to the University of Utah like they did last series. Now fighting for passing 70%. The whole team should be back by now. They're going to be looking to do it. Teleport goes out.
Yeah, Boise State doing a good job controlling both of these high grounds. Putting Maxwell up on that left side, on the smaller gantry platform, is going to be the better spot. A lot less angles to pressure him out from, especially with the lack of Symmetra on the side of Utah. 86% and counting. This is going to be the final team fight, depending on what happens here. Strider just trying to gain his ultimate. He is going to get his before No Sam can, but the Kitsune Rush out of Ray is going to force everyone off of that gantry. Graviton Surge is right back there, and it's going to find, no, it's going to find one
at least.
Ray is going to go down, but at the cost of Strider and Lyric. Sonic falling as well. Teddy Apaya is going to find Maxwell with the overclock from PDK.
Oh, kill.
University of Utah is going to find the first map in this series.
Very, very close at the end there. Boise State able to get the retake, able to get that map, or at least that site, back in their favor. But the first point going to the University of Utah, going into the second portion of this first game now. Boise State need, I believe, 2 more to win out the map.
Yeah, Boise State need to find 2 to win. It is a best-of-3 game mode. They need to find that to win the map. However, Utah sitting at 1 already. They just need 1 more. It puts a little bit of pressure on the side of the Broncos. They need to find their way through, but we've seen crazier comebacks happen before. I believe this is how the map went last time, if I'm remembering correctly, because I do remember seeing every map on that game. But moving in, I hear a little bit of Wrecking Ball action.
I do see Wrecking Ball action. Immediately, just like that, Strider already on site, getting ready to go. Everyone from the University of Utah filing in through this other side. Oh, he's waiting. Strider's waiting. He's getting ready. Just like this, he's going to pounce, coming through and smashing down. He's going to be able to deal lots of early damage and just kind of be, you know, the rat, that little gopher.
Oh no, but getting stuck on the enemy team is not quite where you want to be, especially with Wrecking Ball being such a large target. You want to be as mobile as possible. Trying to get up to get a good slam, doesn't quite find it, but he is going to be spinning around, spin to win, but PDK is going to find Maxwell in the exchange.
PDK on that Sojourn has been able to do a lot of damage right there at the end of the game, or at least at the last point. You can see that ultimate kill come out, and that kind of helped University of Utah claim that point and keep that in their favor. And just as I say that, the University of Utah will be claiming this point to start it off as they start their climb to a second map win.
Yeah, a little bit of damage being put out by Clear, just not quite able to build up the beam like you would want to on Symmetra. Symmetra is an odd character. She requires a lot of damage to be done in a very short amount of time in order to get that beam fully up. Ray going to have to use a swift step to get away from the dive into one of his teammates. However, nobody is really in a position to use an ultimate right as of this point. PDK sitting at 89%. He is going to be the closest, but Ray is following up fairly quick. Lyric about ready to use his, but No Sam's going to go down to Maxwell. Tank going down. That's not what you want to see.
Then, just like that, supports and DPS are going to be going off the map as well. Lucio getting chased all the way down, and it's just Teddy Apaya fighting on that Genji before they get killed. Just like that, it's down to it. Strider with 2 is going to be able to reclaim this and now start Boise State's attack here. All they have to do is defend, make sure they can keep these kills up. Strider, though, on ball. We were talking about it earlier. He's doing really well.
Yeah, I will say, ultimates are not quite where you want to see them out of either team. Utah has the significant advantage, but they're going to take one off the table entirely. PDK sliding into the minefield, and Ray falling soon after the grappling hook.
Smash down on Zarya is going to land Lyric with an assist onto that one. Actually getting the kill instead. Strider still fighting for more, kind of shoving them back, making sure they can't even get anywhere near holding the site in a lockdown. Wall is going to go up, splitting the field.
Yeah, the Sonic barrier is also going to come through, trying to get the rest of the team to point. Sonic is going to get melted down, but not quite dead, as he's able to get the swift step right to him. Out comes the Dragon Blade, but Maxwell's going to take him out, but not before Danger goes down as well. Clear, getting taken down by Ray, who's able to pop the Kitsune Rush. That might not have been the best angle, as the rest of Boise State Overwatch is already on their way back. Teddy Apaya with a swap back over to Tracer, as Strider is still hanging around to the back line, just able to do whatever he wants. Utah was able to get the map flipped. They are sitting at around the same pointage, but PDK having to use the Suzu to save him alive. Oh, and finding Strider as well. Now Boise State is going to have to wait for him to come back. But I would like to point out, we got 3 ultimates on the board for Boise State. We have no ultimates on the board for Utah. No Sam coming very close to his first ultimate of the match. I don't blame him too much. Oh my god!
Lyric!
So, okay, I saw Sonic tank that headshot, and I thought he lived. It's like, oh, he'll live. Nope, he won't. He is dead.
Nope, it was actually Lyric with the assist. Maxel getting another one with their ult. Strider assisting along the way. Boise State piling on their ult and piling on the pressure as they regain that point. Now, just forcing the University of Utah back. Everyone back and alive, but Strider, you can see him, he's lurking. He's doing so much damage and causing so much time to be wasted. Maxwell going low, having to retreat. But it's Strider. He's going down, he's making damage.
Oh, but the Graviton Surge solo onto Strider. PDK is going to find his first overclock that doesn't do anything. Daydream is going to get that. Is going to get the Wu Yang ult. Not quite going to find much out of it, but that's more of a survival ult than anything. You're not looking for kills. However, Lyric is going to find himself at the wrong end of a laser as the Swift Step comes through and allows Daydream to escape. But here he comes.
Here he comes
Strider
again.
is back. Sonic is going to fall to Max ult. Teddy is going to use Pulse Bomb and it finds Daydream. Unfortunately, having to use that Suzu just a little bit earlier. Strider falling to PDK as well. We're hitting overtime, and somebody needs to touch anybody. Clear gets in, but is immediately melted, and Boise State is going to fall. Utah taking map 1 fairly handily.
I mean, fairly handily, but also fairly close. I mean, Boise State able to get that control and get it upwards of 80%, closer to 90. I mean, I don't think that was a blowout by any means, but it was a well-fought match, and I kind of took me by surprise. University of Utah coming out strong.
Yeah, I do have to give credit where credit is due. Nobody was really banned that hindered any strategy. You didn't see a Wrecking Ball ban. You didn't see a Wu Yang ban. You didn't see a Kiriko ban. You didn't see any of those that you would expect to cripple a team on a specific map. However, you did see it very, very back and forth that Utah was just able to do better. I want to point out that really big ultimate fight at the end of round 1. We saw 8 ults hit the field, and Utah was able to get first kills with every single one of them. Well, Graviton Surge got more value. I want to point out the Dragon Blade from Teddy Apaya very, very much. Able to kill Daydream out of the Kitsune Rush, just a snap of your fingers. And overall, just the ability to use ults was a little bit more on the side of Utah. Even when they were down ults, they were using them better.
Yeah, I liked what Utah was doing there. They were really quick on their retakes. They were getting onto site, doing a lot of damage, pushing back Boise State, especially when it was just their DPS and supports holding down site. Strider, when he was Wrecking Ball in that second map, was just flying around trying to do, the ratty things that Wrecking Ball does, and I think it kind of just left that vulnerability open on the point that University of Utah were able to capitalize on and kind of push them off and reclaim.
Yeah, I would also like to point out PDK on the Sojourn. There was a single ultimate that didn't get any kills with him, and it felt like every time you blinked, boom, he had one back up. Overclock is one of the strongest ultimates in the game as long as you can hit your shots. And I know you can say that about a ton of ults. However, you essentially get Sojourn's Railgun, which is a budget Widowmaker rifle, completely off cooldown for, I believe it's 10 seconds if I remember right. But we just saw it throughout that entire game. PDK absolutely running the DPS side of the lobby.
Absolutely, PDK, definitely our standout player. But I also want to note, Strider on tank, he was doing so much for Boise State. I'm wondering if that's going to continue or if new bans are going to be altering that. I wonder if that Winston ban got to them or if they weren't too worried about it.
They were very mad. They were like, we wanted to play Winston. We're going to play
Winston.
But overall, I do think that the bans might have to be taken in a little bit different direction than where they were going. Because the Vendetta ban, it made sense, but not really, because nobody on the side of Utah plays a lot of Vendetta. Nobody on the side of Boise State plays a lot of Vendetta. And the Winston ban was also a little odd as well, because usually they don't come out the gate swinging with Winston, especially on a map like Busan being so odd for a lot of those dive characters. But it does look like we're moving over to Kings Row. Somebody got very sick of Sojourn, so we're taking her straight off the menu.
So much for PDK.
Yeah, PDK. I mean, it's PDK. I doubt that he's any. I could have expected the Zarya ban.
Yeah.
And with how well No Sam plays both Zarya and Wrecking Ball, I 100% expected this. Yeah, if No Sam was not cringe, he would play Reinhardt on Kings Row. But I mean, with such a heated game, Reinhardt isn't exactly in the best state right now. I don't expect them to bring that out. That's more of a meme pick, if anything else. But
meme pick.
I will say both of these bans are very, very good. on the side of both teams. We saw both Strider, PDK, Maxwell, and No Sam play all of these characters to a very high degree. They were definitely the movers and shakers. That's what we wanted, or they're kind of who we saw starting out a lot of fights, ending a lot of fights as well, and taking them off the table is definitely what you want to do.
So I'm wondering if No Sam was the cause of that Winston ban in that previous game, and then switched over to Zarya, who maybe that's one of their top tanks, and they were able to do a lot of damage and a lot of work on that.
So Zarya seems to be their main tank from what I can tell. I do think they play a little bit of Winston here and there. The thing is, Winston is super easy to punish, and that's where it's really hard to play him. He is a massive hitbox with a lower health bar, or he's a bigger hitbox than Wrecking Ball with a smaller health pool. And sure, you get your little shield, and that's really nice. Yeah. But as much as monkey see, monkey do, he monkey die in a lot of scenarios. And unfortunately for the Winston fans, he's not not the best dive tank. I'm not going to say he's not viable, because he 100% is if you know what you're doing. However, at least when it comes to my lobbies, people don't know what they're doing.
Well, those are your lobbies.
That's true.
We're talking about these lobbies. Boise State and University of Utah going into map 2. Kings Row, which I believe is a hybrid.
Yep.
So they're going to be fighting for that first point. And I'm really curious because, like, from what I've seen in past matches that either I have played or Boise State have played, it can tell a lot early game if you can hold down that start and make sure that whoever is fighting for that point doesn't get anywhere near it.
Yeah, from what I've heard from a lot of people, I've pulled this for a while because I wanted to get a definitive answer. Which is better to start out with on hybrid / escort, because both of them kind of have the same philosophy. Would you rather defend first, or would you rather attack first? And most of the people I talk to would actually rather defend first. Personally, not the biggest fan of defense. I like the offensive side. However, when they
likes what the game's about.
Yeah, I liked what the game's about, attacking the point. However, when they told it to me, they made a really good point. When you defend it, you know exactly the point that you have to push it to in order to win. It's not like, we pushed it to here, now we have to stop them beforehand. It's almost like I'd rather play attack, so I want to do attack second. Just gun it there. I know exactly where I have to go.
And honestly, when you kind of brought that up, I thought I started to think to myself, I'm like, what would be the better one? And I also would agree. I feel like defending gives you that advantage. It gives you, your finish line that you have to reach and to get past, and it also gives you a glimpse to what kind of composition they're thinking for this map, and it kind of lets you see, all right, how can we counter this, and how can we take the site fairly quickly and try to push this as far as we can.
Yeah, and I will say, when it comes to Kings Row, there's a lot of different ways you can play it. We've seen the Wrecking Ball forced on it quite a bit. I'm not sure if we're actually going to see it tonight. We've seen a lot of Sigma getting used out of Strider on maps like these, just having a little bit more space to work with, being able to sort of zone stuff out from a little bit longer ways away. That is kind of what you want to see in maps like these.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those maps. I mean, like I said, it's a hybrid, so you have to be on this payload, getting it across map, and that can take a lot of time, and it's a lot of discipline to have for some of these characters to make sure that you got to stay with your team, you got to get your picks, do your damage, and make sure you're just overall working together. Because if you're working solo on one of these, it's not going to go well, and you're just going to be wasting time off that clock.
100%. Time matters in this game mode more than just about any other. I mean, time is obviously a big factor. I mean, Control Point kind of just innately have a little bit of have a timer. Escort and Hybrid both have timers built in as well. And it does look like we're going to be seeing a very similar comp to last time. I saw Maxwell on the Winston, and I was right about the Sigma. And I think we're going to get a little bit of a Sigma mirror. No Sam unwillingly plays a lot like Strider in many different ways. However, we see a little bit of Hanzo, Farah, and I believe there's a Mercy there as well. But I can't quite tell from the silhouettes, but I do know Lucio when I see one.
That is indeed a Lucio, a Hanzo, Kiriko. Not quite a Mercy, but still, I mean, quite different. Like,
very different.
Very different from last game overall. And now it's time to hold this down. Boise State, they have to make sure the University of Utah doesn't get anywhere near this point. They got to delay it as much as possible. They have 3 minutes on just 3.5 minutes actually to get basically all that time wasted.
Yeah, that Pharah, you don't quite see Pharahs without their Mercy pocket very often, but Ray taking quite a bit of damage in the pocket, but so is Strider. Not a whole lot going on the point so far. Boise State just trying to hold up on the high ground. That's kind of where you want to be, and that's where the Symmetra really comes in handy. Having that teleporter on cooldown allows less mobile characters like Bastion and Sigma to really get up, but PDK, he doesn't need to rely on a teleporter to go right into the backline and explode.
PDK, by what I'm seeing, is they are the sniper of the team. Playing a character like Sojourn, who requires a lot of accuracy, switching over to Hanzo after the ban is very interesting, but it also shows a lot about them and how they play as a character. And now you're looking at this. University of Utah not able to get quite as close as they would like to this point, but they just have to keep pushing. They were able to do so on Control last game. They're able to push back and get what they needed, but now looking forward, Boise State doing a great job of holding them back.
Yeah, going to get pushed down. Clear is now on the bottom line as the Dragon Strike comes through. It's going to find Strider with a little help from NoSam, but he's out in the open, not where you want to be as a Sigma with no shield. And now the rest of the team needs to fight for a little bit of control as Teddy Apaya is going to fall. Clear does get taken out by PDK. And you know, I would typically agree with what you said about being the sniper character, but if you know where to put your shots as Hanzo, he may seem a lot more random than some other characters, but he is very nice. But with the artillery, with the artillery strike coming out, able to save himself just barely thanks to that perk.
Yeah, it was kind of a last second like, oh no, I need to use this right now. Just to stay alive and keep yourself going in the fight. Double Kitsune Rush is going to come out, so it's going to be almost canceled out, I guess.
No, Sam just got his ult canceled! Oh man, I've seen people say that children eat rocks, but NoSam is actually eating rocks there. It might be a fight loss for Boise State, but taking that ultimate off the table is definitely something you want to see.
Absolutely, and now a lot of damage coming out. You can see that Farewell coming out.
Oh
No, Dragon Rush!
Oh my God,
Not enough damage, but he still stays alive with 28 health. What a trooper. Maxwell able to stay in the fight. Now going to loop around, try to find some health packs, try to get closer to this. University of Utah really approaching on this capture as they get the payload unlocked. It is the start.
Maxwell, what are you doing?
He's guarding. He's making sure they don't get anywhere near the payload, I guess.
That is true. However, the payload does move up forward quite a ways before getting right back out. Clear swapping onto the Vendetta, something we haven't seen a whole lot out of in this, or in play in general. We saw a little bit out of him last week as Maxwell, still sitting on the point, is unfortunately going to fall to a Sonic Ray tag team.
Well, I think what was good there is that Maxwell, he was just buying time. He's wasting time off that clock that University of Utah kind of just let by. They all pushed forward to make sure they could get Boise State off of the table, but now they're going to be going towards this. The push starting to happen, and the Sigma fight right here. Both shields come out, some rocks being thrown, and we're seeing that ult come out for Boise State. It is locked and loaded. Now it's just a matter of when they're going to want to use it.
Yeah, Strider, Graviton Flux is a very, very hard one to actually get, because not only do you have to get them in, but you have to stop them from getting healed, so that way you can actually kill on the downward spike. There it goes up, and he's going to find one, but unfortunately the sound barrier is going to come through. Two ultimates being
third
used.
Dragon Rush.
As NoSam is not quite going to go into the light yet, but going into a small room with Strider is not what you want to see. Clear is actually going to go down to Teddy Apaya as two support ultimates hit the field. Ray getting used, and the title rush is going to find Sonic. Lyric is going to go down as well. But they're going to stop the ultimate on 25 health.
PDK, though, getting another 2K on top of that, making sure the push will stay there. A couple of long snipes. Oh, Clear's able to find one! Finding PDK!
Who's the sniper character now?
Getting bamboozled from the distance by a sword slash. Clear now able to just wait for their teammates before they keep pushing towards this point. They're going to get towards it. Orbital is going to come out. No kills from it, but still a good defensive stop from Boise State.
But Strider is going to roll right over Ray. NoSam not having any support left as Sonic went down a little earlier in the fight. He is going to have to back up. Sigma requires a lot of help from his team to really get going, but with those shields, you give him a little bit of time, he's going to be able to regen. But killing him that late in the fight, that's going to be really hard for Utah to come back at full strength on. They're going to have to wait for him to come back. Oh.
Now they've got to wait. He's kind of just juggling. This is what I'm talking about. You're just ratting out on the top of the building, waiting for them to get close, and then you can just drop in and do a lot of damage really fast, kind of catch them off guard. And I feel like if you're University of Utah, you gotta be wary about how much you gotta watch out for them. But Lucio's gonna be able to stop that fairly quickly. They saw the tricks in place, and they were gonna stop him right there.
They stole the playbook, they made a few photocopies of it, but with a little bit of grenades, the solo barrage onto Strider is going to actually do quite a bit and take him out, as Teddy is almost dead. One more shot will kill, and he's going to find Lyric on the way out, as Maxwell still sitting on the high ground. Out comes the Dragon Strike. D.Va trying to push up to Maxwell. No Sam, having to swap characters a little bit, but it is going to be too much pressure for Maxwell to withstand. I mean, having 4 people on you is not easy in the slightest, but Clear coming up from behind with the ultimate almost on lock. It's not quite there yet, but with the Kitsune Rush, it is all but inevitable. Here it comes, the Vendetta ultimate. Who's it gonna find? No one.
No one.
No one.
Not
in fact, Hex
close.
is going to fall in the process. PDK is just on a roll. Sonic
Clear
is going to get whacked by the bonk stick of doom and despair.
Doom. Well, still causing damage and just nonsense. No Sam able to get 3, forcing Boise State back. Maxwell just trying to get damage before he falls off. Oh no!
Oh no! Whoa, where did the caution tape go when it was needed most? Call the caution tape the Avatar, because when it was most needed, it disappeared.
It's like Abyss and Valorant. It's just an endless pit of doom that if you accidentally walk too far back, it's like, oh no. And you just leave the battle. But right now, Boise State trying to cause as much damage as possible, keeping them away. This is the final stretch in this map before Boise State flips the script, and they have to push. But right now, they're going to want to stop them as much as possible so that they have a line set. Like we were talking about earlier, if they're defending first now, if they stop them here, they see their line that they have to stop them at. Or if they have to get past.
PK is going to go down to Strider. No support, unfortunately. That minefield did a really good job at closing people off. It's clear it might fall to Teddy, but Maxwell going to get revenge. He's like, you kill my friends, and then killed them instead. Strider trying to get around is going to take Sonic down in the process, and Raze gets to switch step away. But with 30 seconds left on the clock, it's going to allow for one last team fight. 2 ultimates on the field ready to use from Teddy and Sonic. The swap to Cassidy out of PDK is a little bit interesting this late in the game, but I can understand why it's happening. Out comes the title rush, and it's going to be met by the Sonic wave, and it's not going to find a ton, as No Sam is actually able to push the point just a little bit farther back with the rest of the team distracted up front.
Overtime is going to hit right here. This is the final push for both of these teams. No Sam able to get 2 with the D.Va explosion, and now you're coming through, and ult from the side of Boise State, not going to be able to find any. And what looks to be a team wipe minus Strider isn't going to matter, as the University of Utah reached the end of this, and now Boise State now need to reach that same mark, but a faster time.
However, I will say, if Boise State is able to get to that point with more than worth a minute or more on the clock, they only have to get a single tick on the point in order to win this game. It is still a very, very close game from the margins of everything, because if they are able to push it well and push it quick, they can get this done even faster. However, with the side of Utah, that also means that they can pretty much, they have an entire map to work with when it comes to defense.
Yeah, I mean, like we were talking about, let's see how big of an advantage that defensive start gives Boise State. Let's see if they really like starting that off. We're gonna be seeing this. They gotta make their way all the way over to the start of this. But I think that if Utah keeps following this trend, I feel like it'll be somewhat similar. You can see that Cassidy coming out on defense, kind of keeping that trade. I believe that's PDK staying on Cassidy, switching out from Hanzo, which is interesting.
I do think that is a little bit better swap for the composition that Boise State likes to run. A very, very quick, very, very movement heavy team composition. And when you have a character like Cassidy with the Hinder Grenade that completely cuts off all movement, it really puts a hamper on what you can do as a dive character, as a tank, as a support. And from personal experience, it is the most infuriating ability in the game.
Well, let's see how incredible that is as we move on. And a little bit of a character swap here for the side of Boise State. Maxwell now switching it out instead of Bastion. They're trying to just free fire that D.Va in the corner.
Yeah, Echo pick, I'm not 100% sure I like it a ton, but maybe against Teddy's Genji, it might work out well. However, we do see him going back into the spawn room. Nope, he's right back up. I thought he was going back into the spawn room to
switch it
out, but nope, that's Maxwell for you. Once he goes on to something, he just stays there. I will say something about Echo is that she builds her ultimate incredibly fast, as Clear is trying to dive right on the tank, doing tons of damage, allowing the rest of Boise State to just walk forward. PDK left on 1 health, falling to Strider, as Sonic is forced to flee.
A little bit of a 3K out of Strider. That's going to start off really strong. Boise State able to get that first, third, working on the second. They are making numbers here. Lyric just chasing them down, getting no Sam. Great kill out of them.
Yeah, very good kill out of Boise State to get this first point with giving him 5 minutes to push this first leg. Lyric is going to get dove on fairly heavily, but luckily is able to pass it off to Maxwell, who takes that baton running.
Getting Teddy Apaya off the map, forcing it down to 4v5. Some great healing coming out. Got to force the payload. And they're not going to have someone like Maxwell just sitting on the payload right at the start, just buying time. No, they're going to make sure that this goes with them. And now the full fight.
Oh
back
no!
In, he gets stopped by the telephone box.
Oh no! British infrastructure once again proving why it is a detriment as it kills Clear outright. Unfortunately, the big red telephone box, while aesthetically pleasing, is not conducive to long-term survival, as the rest of Boise State falls very soon after.
Very soon after. Now you have to wait for Strider to get back into the game. Here they are, but they have to make that trek all the way from spawn. You can see the Kitsune Rush ready to go, but I think they might be waiting for Strider to enter this battle.
Oh, it stopped on the point! Oh, the point.
What is happening in this game?
Oh no, the map is out to get the Broncos right now as the high noon gets popped out. Unfortunately, no rock, but he's going to get it with the kinetic grasp. Unfortunately for Maxwell, Teddy Apaya is going to find something with his.
Great.
Getting up, it's going to get 2, and it's going to find a few more thanks to Clear swinging his sword around, able to get some more value as the self-destruct is forced through. No Sam, not quite going to get the remake off of it, and Ray is left to pick up the pieces of a broken home.
They're just fighting Strider. They're like, I've got you. 1v1, put your hands up. Strider said no.
Put up your dukes.
Strider said no. Go back to spawn.
No,
you're done.
Go back to you're done.
As they keep making great time, approaching 3 minutes left, and now at the second checkpoint where they needed to be. Now it's just a matter of keep on pushing. This is where it's going to get down. This is crunch time here. You saw the Utes able to do it earlier, but now will Boise State be able to, as a couple of ults come out from both sides.
Yeah, lots of ults coming out from the side of Utah. Actually, no ults used on the side of Boise State. I think that's the right way to go. Utah expended 2 ults in order to get that point. Sure, PDK was able to build up to 50, but at the expense of building 2 more ults up on the side of Boise State. Maxwell and Clear both have theirs to work with, and with 3 minutes left on the clock, they have quite a bit more time to work with than Utah did. They only capped the point in overtime.
They do have a bit more time, but for right now, it's a matter of getting back on that point. You got to make sure that they can push it as much as they are, as much as the University of Utah is pushing it back. Here, maybe an ult coming out, maybe not, but they're going to save that for just a little bit longer. I like what's happening here. They're being really conservative. Clear still with their ult in hand, has to fight out this Genji. Is going to stay alive, get some healing last second, and here's the ult.
Is it going to find something this time?
It's going to find Teddy Apaya.
Teddy. This teddy bear is going to be mashed into the ground as Maxwell and Clear just cleaning stuff up at this point. It is just PDK left. And while he's going to get a little bit of damage on, it's not going to be enough. The point has been captured. 3:30 left on the clock as Maxwell swaps back to what I can only assume is his favorite character in Bastion.
Might just be. Getting out of that Echo, switching back to a heavy hitter like Bastion. Now you can see a couple of ults kind of charging up here. Lyric and Strider both having theirs. And inside of Utah not having anything. Stuns coming out. No Sam able to get Strider tank v tank.
Yeah, Teddy swapping on to the Vendetta as well is going to be quite the pain in the side as to the side of Boise State. We saw it a lot against Utah, being able to just cut through the kinetic grasp that a lot of Sigmas use to keep themselves alive in sticky situations. just shooting out from PDK that all the damage that can come through from characters, from these characters, it does a lot of damage. Out comes the Gravitic Flux. Oh, 3 as No Sam misses the rock. Oh, the ultimates come through to hopefully support the tank, but alas, it is too late, and Sonic goes down before being able to build beat. We got one more team fight, maybe even less than that. How fast can Boise State push this cart, and how quickly can Utah get back?
It's going to be down to the wire. That was a great use of ultimates and team fighting mechanics there right at the end. Now they're fighting for this point. You can see in the bottom right, you can see how close it is.
No!
Sam really low, getting healed back as much as they can. Stuns come out. No Sam able to get one. Hex getting Teddy Apaya off the field, and No Sam getting Strider once again, beating him out. The push is still alive. It's there. You need less than 4 meters to go.
2 people off the field. PDK is able to find Hex, and Maxwell trying to find his way out. It's going to result in Lyric falling as well. Boise State has 1 ultimate on the field, same with Utah. Unfortunately, they were not able to bait out that sound barrier, which is going to be what I think makes or breaks this game, depending on when it is used and how it is used. We probably have 2 more team fights left to go from Boise State on this attack. They are right there at the end. They are in a good spot to close this one out as the artillery strike comes through from Maxwell.
Artillery strike, that could be good. That gets him a start. No Sam able to get a clear onto that, and you can see Lucio popping his ult, wasting time and adding so much health to the side of Utah, and another team wipe is going to come out, and that's going to waste so much time. Now with a minute left, Boise State need to get back. They need a team kill of their own so they can at least push it the last bit of the way.
They just need a little bit of damage. They have not been able to outdo the damage Utah's been doing. We've been seeing it on Strider all game, just getting beaten down just the entire time. Just from 625 to 0, it feels like. Both Gravitic Flux back, No Sam also having his. It might just come down to who uses their tank ult better, as both accretions are used. Out comes the Gravitic Flux. This shield is used to hopefully save the team, but Lyric's going to fall before anything can happen. 30 seconds left on the clock, and Utah is in a good spot to take this one as they push Boise State right back to their spawn. 20 seconds left, and Boise State is not looking to be in the best spot right now.
No, they're not at all. You're trying to use a portal to get back as quick as possible. They got to try to make this fight as fast as possible. They need to get on the point, because as soon as this is going to come out, that's going to be an ult kill. Couple's coming out. Tedia with one. Hex trading off. Ray now down, fighting for overtime here. That point is grabbed, and now they just need to make sure they can make it to the finish line, or else it might just be in favor of Utah here.
Yeah, it is 2 DPS currently sitting in the back line. That is who Utah have to work with. If they can stay alive until reinforcements arrive, this might just be the game. But No Sam swapping over to the Doomfist is going to knock the Sigma out of the grasp, and that might just be game as the Tidal Blast doesn't quite come in time. Utah taking map 2, putting them on match point.
Well, last time they played, it was a 3-2-1 venture. Now Utah flipping the script, getting 2 on the board.
Yeah, I just don't know what is going on with the Boise State roster tonight. Usually, we would see a lot more kills out of them than we're seeing tonight. And of course, Strider been doing well. Clear and Maxwell have been trying, but they just have not been able to outdo the damage of these other 2 DPS. PDK has just been coming out to play when it comes to the damage front.
So you got to think to this. You got to think to yourself. You're down 0-2 match point. I can't remember. What was the third map again?
Third map, I believe, will be Control, if I remember, or Flashpoint.
Flashpoint. I was going to say, yeah. Control was map 1.
We already played Control.
So Flashpoint is as the next map. This is going to be make or break for Boise State. Really curious what Doc's telling them right now.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on right now, because I mean, we saw a very, very close game out of them last time. Utah played them incredibly close all 4 games that they played. Actually, I think it was 3 games, and then it was a fairly decisive Boise State victory there at the very end. I will say, it is currently 3-2, or it is currently 2-0. It is not 3-0. The game is not over yet. Anything can happen in that time. I am just a lot of stuff can go on in a game of Overwatch. It's like Rocket League.
Yeah.
You never count a team out, especially if they're only down 2 goals. You never count a team out in Overwatch when there's still a lot of series left to play. However, it'll all come down to what adjustments do they make? How do they get around this roadblock? A lot of this game is mental, and if you let yourself fall into that rut, it can have detrimental effects. So trying to keep yourself in the game, ready to go, right. Game's still at 0-0. Play it like it's 0-0. That's how you do it. And it'll all just come down to that. But they need to start winning their 1v1s.
They do. I mean, it was part of Doc's keys of the game. You got to win your 1v1s. And I feel like, I don't know, coming into this has to be the turning point. Because if they win this, then they're still alive. It's 2-1. Then they win the next one, 2-2. And if we want Boise State to win, they have to go all the way to game 5 or to map 5 on this.
And one thing I would also like to point out, a loss here puts them towards the middle of the bracket as well. Yeah,
but we do want to say thank you to today's sponsor, Dairy West. Today's stream is brought to you in part by local dairy farmers and dairy protein they produce. Thanks to them, Boise State Esports has access to next-level fueling options that keep our players playing at their peak. Unbottled dairy protein that powers your performance. Visit unbottled.com for more info.
Yeah, I wonder how I wonder what they're planning for this next map. You're going to Flashpoint.
They're scheming.
You got a lot to scheme about. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. There's a lot of stuff that can go a little bit haywire, especially on a Flashpoint map where there's so much going on at the same time. I bet you we're going to see Saravasa. That's most likely the map that we're going to see. It seems to be the competitives, or the professionals and the college gamers' favorite. I'm not sure why. There's some better ones out there. I mean, the new one they released is pretty good. I like the new one, but I guess not everyone likes the new one, so we're not going to play the new one. But we're going into Game 3. Match point for Utah. A lot is riding on this game. Like I was alluding to before our sponsor, we have Boise State currently sitting at 6-2. Not bad at all. However, you lose this game, we're 6-3, which puts us, I believe, at a very similar scoreline. I think Utah will actually be matching Boise State after their bye game next week.
They're 4-3. They're 4-3 right now. If they win this, they will go to 5-3.
Yes, that is true. So it'll all basically come. This is a very big game for the standings right now, especially with Utah threatening a win in a fairly good manner.
Yeah, but unfortunately, just like that, we do have to cut the tension. We are going to go to a quick break, so please stay with us. We will be back shortly with Game 3 of this matchup.
My friends know me as Derek, but I'm also Master Sergeant Raxter. This is my life in the Air National Guard.
Since you guys have been in here, some things have changed. We've updated this place to be in its final form. New cabinets, new counters, all sorts of new stuff in here. This has turned into a place that wouldn't look out of place at an SEC or Big Ten football facility, and Dairy West has allowed us to have it here. We've taken a holistic approach to our player nutrition, and we're really thankful that Dairy West has made sure that our fueling station is the best in college esports and really at industry standard for any college athletic department.
It's me, your Idaho Central Credit Union app. Rough morning? Was that a mobile deposit? I got this. Beat it, Charlie. We're making money moves here. Cha-ching. And done.
Charlie, come on, outside.
Sorry about the mess. I'd help if I had hands. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Welcome back to the esports arena here at Boise State. Thank you for your patience. We are now back getting ready for Game 3 of Boise State versus the University of Utah Utes. This is where it all comes down to it. Boise State is trailing 0-2 in series count. They need this next map to go in their favor quite heavily.
Yeah, they need this, or they don't even need it heavily. They just need to win this map. They need to get the ball rolling. A reverse sweep here is how they're going to end up winning this one, and it's really what they need in order to stay at the top of this league. We were talking about it before the break. They lose this, they fall to the middle of the pack, somewhere that we haven't seen Boise State at all in the PEC league. They were very, very consistent at the beginning. And it looks like we're going to see New Queen Street come out for push. I guess I was wrong about the map type, so that was on me. But am I crazy, or is that a double Zarya ban?
That's kind of what I was thinking too, and I'm like, they're not going to switch it up? Interesting.
Interesting, but
don't matter now. We're going in.
Re-railing my train of thought. Utah wins this, and they are put in a very good position. Taking out the former PEC champions in Overwatch is a huge accomplishment, especially for a team that kind of came out of nowhere like Utah did. They joined the PEC, didn't have a lot of huge standout players that were on the roster, but man, they have made some big waves so far in the PEC. And overall, it's been a very entertaining game to watch so far. Personally, I do hope that Boise State will be able to take this one back, but it would be pretty thrilling to see Utah take this one as well.
Yeah, it would be. This actually not being a flashpoint like we were expecting, this is going to be a push. So a little bit different. Still got to get your steps in. You got to march your way over to that robot.
And then
still, this is where we need to. This is where Boise State needs to show how strong they are, literally and mentally that they can win the game, and physically that they can push that robot as far as they can.
Strider on the Wrecking Ball, looking to do the Wrecking Ball special. Unfortunately, no one on Utah is going to take the bait and go the long way around the coast, and that would result in a very funny death, and he's almost going to find Teddy just on the rebound. He thought he was safe, but no, he wasn't, as Ray is getting pushed right into the front line. Hex is going to fall to PDK, and so is Maxwell. Boise State taking a lot of losses early on, as they're only going to find Teddy in the process.
No,
wait, no, they're going to find PDK as well. Clear
Strider able to get one.
What is Clear doing? Oh.
Clear getting two before getting taken out by Sonic, and Utah able to get the first start of this push. 15 meters now, as Boise State need to rush to get on this. They need to have everything in their pockets to try to, I mean, they need to hustle.
Yeah, no Sam with no mech. If he gets taken out, they have no tank for the beginning of this fight, and Utah is going to have to give up all of that space that they just cleared out. Man, what a good early pick out of Boise State.
Very good early pick, getting that Diva off the field. A little bit of Diva that we've seen is going to be from Utah, and now they're kind of honing down on that. They're just going to play little game of
swing and a miss out of Teddy. Oh, it's like me trying to play T-ball. It's like, man, are you going to hit the ball, or are you just going to swing the ball in its vague direction? As No Sam is actually going to get chunked down quite a bit. Same with Teddy. Both of them getting forced out thanks to a lot of pressure being put out by Maxwell on the Sojourn. Oh, no Sam is
Max down.
Oh, but the high Noon is out, but unfortunately the Noon was not quite high. Oh, wait, no, it's still going. I thought
it's been a long time.
I could have sworn I saw him moving normally, but PDK is not quite going to find it. Hex with the swap over to Brig. I do kind of like that swap, especially with how much Teddy has been doing. Oh, I thought I just watched No Sam use Diva Bomb as an accident. I thought I just watched him do that.
Misclick.
It was
No.
a misinput. Calm down. Calm down. It was a misinput. But
Regardless, though, Boise State, they're going to reach this first checkpoint here in this map, which is really good. They're up by about 35 meters in comparison. And now all they need to do is keep this push alive. They're doing lots of damage. And I like the reinforcement of shields here. Like you said, that Brig coming out, able to add some defensive pressure for Boise State. Minefield coming out right on top of it. I like it a lot. A lot of damage down. And so does the mech for Diva.
Oh, but not as much as Ray shooting those kunais like there's magnets attached to the heads of Boise State players, and Utah is going to be able to take it back with a few well-placed shots out of Ray. That Kitsune Rush was just getting a little bit more value than Lyrics could. However, with that forward spawn, Boise State is a lot closer and ready to get back into the action. Hex with an ultimate to use, and Clear almost having his. Rally is going to get popped, and Teddy is going to be the first to go before the sound barrier can reach him.
Keeping the fight alive now. A couple players low, and Clear and Moxel teaming up for 2 before Teddy is going to be able to respawn with their ult. That Vendetta ult could be very dangerous, but a good push here. Getting No Sam out of their mech and out of the field. PDK now reclaiming their ult as well. This is going to be a battle for the ages. Boise State still having the lead here at 66 meters, but now the University of Utah with 2 ults, two very good ults at that, could change the tide very quickly.
Yeah, Teddy having an ult, both of these ults can kind of come out of nowhere and find really unexpected picks, and that's kind of what you see them doing right here. The Vendetta from Teddy just sitting in the stairwell, just right there, and the high noon coming through from PDK. Where is it? Where is it going to be found? We have no idea, but from the looks of things, Boise State has done a really good job at avoiding it as it gets no value. Hex, though, going to fall, and soon Maxwell is going to fall to PDK. Oh, there's Teddy. Is he going to duck the fade? Yeah, or no, he's not.
Ooh,
and
back and forth.
Clear is going to find it. Who's going to come out on top as Lyric falls? PDK gets a good smack in Clear's face, and Strider forced to back out before he falls to, giving Hex just a little bit of ult charge as well. That's kind of what you need. You have a big character. You got a big health bar. Might as well allow one of your supports to get quite a bit of ult charge just from healing you all the way up.
Yeah, but Maxwell onto Sojourn now, doing a little bit of a switch up, getting close to their ult, closing on 80%, along with Strider, close on that minefield. They're trying to start the push here. Oh, you can see the ult at a Clear come out, a little bit of value out of that, but they still have to get something going here. Minefield at the ready for Strider.
Yeah, Teddy is going to do a good job at distracting the entire team. The ult comes out, and it's going to be Ajaxed. No Sam going to use his Diva Bomb. He's going to find Lyric, but Ray gets found immediately after by Clear. This is still in Boise State's favor, and the forward spawn was not found by Utah as No Sam continues to fall lower on health. PDK actually uses his ult as well. Why? Why did you push Q at any point in time? It would have been better, but
that one might have been a misinput.
I think that was an actual misinput.
Regardless, though,
count them up. We're gonna practice with Count Von Count here with Sesame Street. 1, 2, 3, 4 ultimates used out of Utah. 0 value.
No value.
Actually, no, that's not true. No Sam got a kill on Lyric.
That is true.
1 value.
They did get that one off with the bomb, and now I believe Strider.
Oh no!
This is a good opportunity for him to get one. Oh, are they just gonna 1v1 the tank? Clear
yes.
almost did.
Yes, he would have 1v1 the tank, but you know, No Sam, he wasn't playing very honorably. He brought his entire team with him, and you know what? Clear is going to get his get back onto Sonic. He's going to be hindered, but that does not stop him swinging his sword, his diamond sword, and unfortunately, he's not going to find a lot by himself, but in comes Strider with a lot of damage just onto everybody in general. Ray is going to fall down.
Looking at
Teddy.
2!
Oh,
there it is.
Teddy, someone give that man a hug. He has been getting rolled over for this whole push game. He's been playing so well, just not quite well enough in taking out the supports early on, as Maxwell is going to find an early pick on Sonic.
Closing in on 3 minutes left of this game. Boise State with a very handled lead, actually. Minefield coming out, forcing Utah in a very interesting situation here. Now they have to come off of respawns and make pushes coming out. No Sam able to pop his ult. No value out of it. Boise State keeping the push.
I like the thought out of that ult from No Sam, but against a character like Vendetta who can do so much damage at once, you're not really going to survive till the end of that ultimate, especially with Clear just going haywire on Sonic, stabbing him to death as PDK comes back in with the Deadeye. the high noon is in the way, but Maxwell's going to fall. No Sam also goes down as well. Losing your tank this early may not be the play, as Clear is cleaving his way through the pack to keep Boise State in the game, but Utah unable to get in. There's the team kill that we've been waiting for, and Boise State is starting up their run. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that was your unbottled play of the game, brought to you by dairy farmers and their families. Perform, refuel, recover, repeat. Visit unbottled.com for more information.
I think that was well deserving, because that was the turning point that got Boise State their first map win in this series, keeping them alive in this matchup. Now looking forward to the 4th map, which I believe now is going to be that flashpoint.
I'm not sure what kind of inspirational stuff was said during that timeout. I'm not sure what kind of cat poster was shared in the general chat saying hang in there. I don't know what was going on, but it's working. I might need to ask just so I can do it to myself for finals that are for when they come up eventually.
It's great motivation.
But overall, that is what you wanted to see out of Boise State. A statement win. Didn't even have to go to overtime. Didn't win at a timeout. Won by pushing it all the way back. And in push, that is no small feat. You are right in front of the enemy spawn. The second they're back in the game, they are pretty much on the point. It is a very hard thing to do to get that all the way back there. And doing that is exactly what they need to start the snowball back in their favor.
And those are the fights that we want to see be won out of Boise State. They did a much better job of winning their 1v1s and even 1v2s. Some of those players were getting a lot of kills in very suboptimal positions, able to get that advantage rolling for them, keeping that robot moving. And it's how you want to win a map like that, especially when you're on match point, getting ready to lose. You are now on the climb back.
Yeah, and what I really like to see is Sojourn on the field. Because for a while, we did not see Sojourn on the field. We were playing Bastion. I don't know why. No disrespect to you, Mark. You play Bastion very well, but Sojourn is better. I like this. I like the Bastion pick in some aspects, especially with Zarya being so meta. He is very good in some specs. But against a Sigma, I don't like that. Against even Diva, I don't really like it, but I like the Sojourn. I like that a lot more. But here we go. On to Suravasa, Freya, and the Hamster. Both of them banned. I understand the Hamster. Utah looking to close this one out. But Freya, we've only seen one person play Freya.
Yes, very interesting bans coming out for the side of someone. I can't tell who banned who here, but regardless, though, I mean, you talked about it earlier. Suravasa, it's here.
It's here. It's their favorite one.
It's everyone's favorite, apparently.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Flashpoint, so they've got to get, 3 points here to win?
Correct. They need to get 3 points. It's essentially the same as the control point map from the beginning, except just one extra point. It's best of 5 instead of BO3, and it's all in a row, so there's no intermission, no downtime, no holds bar, all action, all gas pedal.
Yep, and it's going to be all gas pedal for Boise State as they strive for a second win to bring it to Game 5, set the tone, make sure your comeback is going to be heard all across the PEC.
Yes, make it known. Give yourself a statement reverse sweep win to start off the I don't think there's been a
start off the spring.
Yeah, I don't think there's been a reverse sweep in the spring season so far.
Well, it's week 1.
It is week 1.
Can't really have any reverse sweep.
Hey, my point still stands. There hasn't been a reverse sweep yet.
On a technicality, that is very true.
This could be the first one.
This could be. This is the guy I can work with everyone. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But let's get into this flashpoint.
Would you rather me do dumb analysis or talk about food?
Food?
Okay.
5, 4.
I'm not saying talk about food. I'm talking about. I'm saying talk about Overwatch because we got a match on our hands. We got Boise State fighting for their lives.
We got a treat of an Overwatch match to watch.
Yeah.
But moving back, Maxo on the Torbjorn. Just as I said, I liked on the Sojourn.
You're like, Bastion was good. Sojourn was better.
Yes.
What's happening?
I do like the Zarya with the Venture, though. We haven't seen this combination yet out of Boise State. Teddy going to be forcing clear off of the high ground, but right back on as he's going to dive Hex. He's going to get nothing out of it, though. Suzu gets forced, trying to keep him alive, and that's going to be one less material for the enemy team to use as No Sam falls. Clear goes down as well, and Strider, too. Oh, no. Both tanks are gone. Both of the Vendettas are gone as well, and Boise State is going to get the first capture as Utah still looking to capture this point, but not able to get the angry Swedish man off the point.
The angry Swedish man is going to hold it down and get Boise State some more advantage here as they force back those supports. Still loving the heart crosshair, not going to lie.
Yeah. I will say, I think that Torbjorn can work well on this map. Just throw your turret in a spot where no one is going to expect it, and it will take out a lot of the divers that don't expect that little bit of extra damage. Lyric, unfortunately, falls off the side, but he's able to get back up. He's got a lot of mobility playing that Kiriko character. Lots of vertical surfaces to climb, but Strider is not so lucky. He doesn't have as much movement, but he's able to get out of there with a little bit of fancy footwork. Clear, though, is going to have to take a bubble in order to live, but he lives nonetheless.
How did Teddy live is what I'm saying. They got down to such low health, able to stay alive, keep the fight alive as the University of Utah get capture on this point. Sonic with 2, able to keep it going, trying to fight it through, and able to get more PDK with an ult kill onto Lyric.
Yeah, for using Overclock, that is what you want to see out of it. Even if you don't get the final hits, you get a lot of damage in, and that's sometimes enough, and that's what we saw out of this one. Boise State, though, have 3 ults ready to rock and roll going into this one, but both support ults being online out of Utah means they're going to have to work hard to even get value out of them. But sometimes forcing out something like Kitsune Rush is what you want to see. What they're trying to do is keep them as far away from the point as possible, but an aggressive beat to run in is going to be matched by Sonics as Utah continues to try and find their way in. The Graviton Surge is not quite built up from either Zarya's yet, but No Sam is going to use it. However, Clear is able to get to the point! He's able to get back and keep the dream alive in overtime. Trying to 1v1, Hex is going to come back for a little bit of an assist, but I think it is null and void as Utah is going to take this first flashpoint.
First flashpoint, indeed, under the hands of Utah. Getting that lead early on, now only needing 2 more as everyone migrates to the second flashpoint now, which Lyric is actually really close to. Good positioning here. Could be a good start for Boise State. They just need to regroup and regain.
Yeah, unfortunately, building up that beam onto No Sam is going to force Strider out quite a bit, down to 100 health. Unfortunately, Zarya is one of the squishier tanks, meaning they can't take a lot of pressure, but Strider just able to back out slowly, prevent a lot more damage from coming in, and Maxwell is also going to be forced out, having to use his Molten Core and not get a lot of value out of it in the process.
No, University of Utah getting almost a team wipe onto Boise State, forcing them back and capturing point is going to be kind of the predicament here. Boise State, they need to try to make a push onto site and actually get something going. Great damage! No Sam now out of the fight, working on more, pushing supports back in DPS, fighting for their lives.
That is just what you want to see. Take the tank out early and make sure you can cascade over the rest of the team. Clear going to win against Tedia as Sonic trying to do his hero moment, but Strider is going to shut it down. Unfortunately, this Sonic is very much leashed.
Not able to be the hedgehog everyone thinks of when they think of Sonic, but right now, a couple of ults coming out. PDK using
there you go.
PDK getting 1. REI able to get another one. Strider keeping it going. Sonic getting clear. And just back and forth. Here we go.
This is anyone's team fight right now.
It really is. It was back and forth there. Quite literally, but still Boise State holding control and getting the lead here.
Yeah, we're sitting 2-2. It's a DPS and a Lucio versus a DPS and a Lucio as PDK makes his way right back onto point with Sonic. Oh no! Oh, Maxwell! What a shot! Oh, and it's going to stop the capture progress from Utah building up. That's what you want to do out of Boise. That is a huge boon in the side of the Broncos, as the Utes have to wait for a key support player to make their way back. Fortunately for them, it is the faster one.
The faster support player, I get it, Lucio can get back fast, but can you get back in time as Hex and Lyric team up on Teddy, get them out of the field, and push Utah back even further as they get their first flashpoint of this matchup. Now tied. The next one will open soon in 30 seconds. Boise State, they are neck and neck with Utah right now. They need these next 2 points badly.
Yeah, they do. Out comes Clear, splitting the team fairly well as No Sam is completely alone.
Wow.
Gets sliced and diced as Clear is able to cleave through, making clean cuts. I don't think I know any more clee words, but I will look for them, I promise.
Well, while you figure that out, Boise State is going to capture this first point as it unlocks. They are going to be the ones to start off this flashpoint. And as University of Utah is going to be racing to try to get here, try to contest at some point, but Clear, now having an ult on the table, could very well use it at a very good time.
Able to split the team with the Molten Core, that is what you want to see if you're Boise State. Keep the tank in one spot, keep the rest of the team in the other. Unfortunately for Boise, a lot has been coming through, and the Kitsune Rush is going to allow them to stay alive along with the sound barrier. In comes the overclock onto Clear, but saved out. Out comes the Graviton Surge. Every ultimate is hitting the field, and Strider is still on a tear. Clear over Gray, just taking him out of the fight, and PDK can't do anything as the TDM has gone the side of Boise State.
Which is what you want to see. Once again, they are winning their 1v1s, which Doc always says in his keys of the game. And just like that, they're taking his notes, and they are rolling with them as they approach 80% on this flashpoint, putting themselves that much closer to a map 4 win.
Yeah, we got ultimates to spare too. Utah had to use everything except for Teddy's in order to sustain that last team fight, but Boise State already ticked it up to 100%. Maxwell on the flank is able to trigger a lot of abilities used. Suzu in particular is going to force TDK to die. No, that is not who you want to die first, especially with No Sam following. Clear goes down, but at this point it doesn't matter. Utah is at such a deficit. Sonic has no choice but to jump off the map. One more point to go, and Boise State will take this to Game 5.
Cinema.
Very
Boise State cinema here in week 1. This is what we love to see.
absolute game.
And Strider on the up in front. I'd love to see his stats post-game. He is knocking out so many kills in this game. He's doing an amazing job right now. And it's actually Boise State getting put on a little bit of a back foot here, fighting for this point. Still ult not going to be used by Clear. That's been sitting in his back pocket for quite some time now.
Sometimes the threat of an ultimate being used is more effective than the ultimate being used itself, and I feel like Vendetta's ultimate is one of those cases, especially with the way Clear's using it.
Wow.
And Hex is going to take Teddy down. PDK is going to find the pick on a Strider, and Clear is going off the map from Sonic. A boop kill on Lucio. It's on the wrong team, but you still love to see it. Maxwell is going to find No Sam, and the point might just tick back for Boise State, but no, the overclock is going to get used. An interesting choice from the side of Utah, but if you're able to pick people out, it might just be what you need, and it's going to take Maxwell down. Boise State going to have to wait a little bit for their team to regroup, but no, Clear is right back in the action.
Right back in the action. We're going to control this. Still not able to do much of anything. PDK able to get that kill there. Vendetta ult coming out on the side of Utah. And now Maxwell having to back up, try to be really conservative about this, because PDK and Sonic are able to get a few more off of the board, and Boise State need to regroup, need to get something going, but there's so much damage happening around them, it's hard to do anything.
Yeah, 81% and counting. Boise State now has to make a decision. Do we push the point, or do we just hold out for the next one? It's point number 5. You know exactly which one it's going to be, but Boise State has never wanted to back down from a fight, as Clear is soaring to the point. He's able to get there, and as the Kitsune Rush is forced out to try and keep up the pressure. Out comes the Vendetta ult over the ceiling, but it's nigh, because no one touches the point. Oh no, Utah 1 point away from taking this whole thing. Boise State, oh man, cleaning things up, just a little too late to take the point, but 1 point left. From 1 point left. 1 point for Boise State keeps them in this game. 1 point for Utah gives them a win to start off, and against the former PEC champions nonetheless. There is a lot riding on a single point of a single game. and Utah is looking to make it happen. Boise State looking to make sure it doesn't. Both of these teams are rocking a hard place. Both Graviton Surges come out, forces the sound barrier from both teams as well. Sonic getting taken down low, nothing really comes out of it, but out comes the overclock. Does it find anything? No, it doesn't, as Sonic almost falls in the process. Lyric forced to use Kitsune Rush in order to keep themselves in the fight. Ultimate's hitting the field left, right, and center as Boise State is able to force Utah right into the closet, and they are able to keep the point to themselves.
Great capture, great hold, but now you got to keep it going. After using all these ults, now it's down to your 1v1s like we were talking about before. Sonic goes down low, getting chased down by Clear.
The Beyblade!
He's going to stay alive for just a little bit. No, Clear's able to secure the kill. Now, fighting for more is Boise State, but that's actually going to force Utah to retreat. They're just going to let that happen. They're going to wait for their support to come back online, and then they're going to try to retake with little time left as Boise State now hits 70% on this final flag point.
Yeah, Ray being the current closest of anybody in the lobby to an ultimate, having that Kitsune Rush before anyone else is going to be a huge boon on the side of Utah. Speaking of Kitsune Rush, here it comes onto the point. Clear going down in the process to Teddy. The Beyblade spun just a little too quick as Strider trying to build up his ultimate almost finds Sonic, but unfortunately Lyric falls just a little bit beforehand. 99% on the point. Utah going to take it to start their tick. Boise State in a really good spot to take this one with 2 players at 90% or more towards their ultimate.
2 players at 90. Very good ultimates at that. Clear now landing his. He's going to have to time that one perfectly. He needs some value out of this.
Yeah, don't C9 with this one, like what happened on the last one. However, I doubt we're going to see that again as he's doing a little bit of tricky play. There it is. Who's it going to find? It doesn't find anything, but it forces people off the point. The
and now he's in his own ult.
But
Sonic
Sonic goes down. That's
able to get one, able to get 2. A recapture now happening.
Boise State taking the
game.
Time. 1 person left, and it is Ray and PDK. The overclock is popped, but no one touches the point. Boise State stays in the game. 1 game left to go. 1 match will decide it all. Who gets the win? Who goes up? And who will take this one? Honestly, absolute game. Absolute game. And we're not even done yet.
No, because we have now an escort to finish it off. Just a one-on-one battle. This is going to be similar to the hybrid where each team is going to have a chance at pushing that payload all the way to the end. I mean, this is what you want to see. Week 1 of the PEC, this is setting a standard on what the rest of the semester is going to be like. Fighting for those championship spots now going to be towards, this is what everyone's fighting for.
Yes, this is what everybody is going for, and Week 1 is going to set the precedent. Who are you? What kind of team are you? Are you one of the top dogs? Are you at the bottom of the barrel? Where do you sit at? Where do you float to? And I feel like this game is going to go to show who will be one of the better teams in this league. Boise State able to claw back 2 wins. They still need 1 more. Utah not quite able to find those 2 wins that 1 win that they were looking for in order to keep this one in. However, they are just as close as Boise State is to winning. They've been just as close. However, just not quite able to push that robot all the way to the end quite yet. They're almost there. They just need 1 more win, and that goes for Boise State too. Lots on the line right now. I mean, not really. There's not a lot on the line as of current, but a lot of standings are on the line currently.
Yes.
A lot of numbers are on the line, and that can really play into later in the season.
Yeah, because this is the University of Utah trying to fight out of that middle of the pack. They're at 4-3 right now. They win this, they go to 5-3. That's just 1 step closer to top of the top here, where Boise State is residing. They're residing in that 3rd place, that last podium spot that you see in the standings next to Ohio and Syracuse. But right now, you've got to think to yourself, this is a nail-biter of a series that's going to come down to 1 final map. Boise State has made the biggest flip mentally in this game. Doc has been talking numbers to them just to let them know that they are still in this game. They are still fighting for a win. And just like that, they brought it all the way back to Game 5.
Yeah, I can really see this game going either way. It doesn't matter what the bans are. It doesn't really matter what the pick is. And really, at this point, we've seen all of the main bans come through. We've seen the Wu Yang ban. We've seen the Zarya ban. We saw the Wrecking Ball ban. We saw all of these players' favorite characters bans, except for I don't think we've seen a Kiriko ban. But in the end, that doesn't really matter because we're seeing these players play into they've seen these players play with characters taken out of their roster. Now both teams are going to have every trick up their book, every card in the deck that they are going to be able to use.
It's the versatility that is kind of enlightening me here. It's the versatility of these Boise State players that allows them to pick and choose between some characters that maybe you don't see as often, but they still know just as well how to play. And they're proving that. I mean, you saw the Torbjorn come out, and it had a huge impact with those few ults that they had, be able to clear out a site and able to just hold back an offense.
Sometimes the best ults aren't the ones that get 5 kills. Sometimes the best ults are the ones that keep you off a point for just long enough to flip it for you, cut off your supports from your tanks, cut off your DPS from your supports. Really just cutting people off can be the biggest boon in the favor of anything. And it looks like we are going to be going to Circuit Royale, a ban out of Ramatra and Symmetra. I get the Symmetra. I'm surprised you aren't seeing a Sigma ban, to be honest.
That's kind of what I'm seeing, too, because we haven't seen Ramatra at all this entire series, and now is when they decide to ban that character.
I do understand the Ramatra ban because his primary fire, when he's not in his Omnic form, his punch-up form, it doesn't have any damage fall-off, and it doesn't do a lot to the body, but to the head, it can obliterate health bars. Plus, the ability to put your shield anywhere is kind of something that we don't really recognize as something that's really strong. You can put it up on high ground, low ground. You can give it to somebody who's farther away than you. And not to mention a lot of his other abilities constricting movement. But the Sigma has always been a staple of Circuit Royale, being able to do a lot of damage from a long ways away and also having the same boons that Ramatra has with his shield. Overall, the ultimate isn't quite as good as Ramatra's. I will be the first to admit, I love Sigma, hate his ult. I will say it's an odd ban, but we're going to have to see how this all plays around. As we go into Map 5, the one that will decide it all. Who will win and who will fall?
Who will win and who will fall, indeed, is the question. A full-out escort map. You just got to push that payload all the way to the end. And now with those picks and bans out of the way, we absolutely can see a potential ball come out.
That is true.
That is true. We could see ball come back out or another Symmetra like you were just talking about. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for Boise State to capitalize here on.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can happen. There's a lot of stuff that probably will. I would imagine if we saw the ball, we'd probably see it out of both teams. Just because Zarya isn't as good on this map, the limited range is a really big disadvantage for her. But when you have a character like Freya who's able to be played in this game, you ban characters like Symmetra that give a lot of movement to the slower characters. From the looks of things, we're going to see the Sigma come out, which I 100% agree with. The Sigma on this map is too good to be slept on. I do think we're seeing another character out of Maxwell from his pocket. We saw it a little bit earlier tonight, but he brought the Echo back out of the discard pile.
Back out of the discard pile. Back out of the pile.
Oh no, that was Teddy.
That was
Teddy's
Teddy?
Echo.
Interesting.
Yeah, Teddy's the one on Echo.
Uh-oh. Because usually they're on a Sojourn doing a lot of damage. Now switching it up.
No, PDK's on the Sojourn.
PDK's on
yeah. Well, or he's on both, but on this one he is on Sojourn. Teddy was the one on Vendetta for a few games.
That's what it was.
Yeah. From the looks of things, Boise State looking to take this corner, able to get it pretty quick, but now they got to force themselves into a tunnel that is not very conducive to long-term living, because you got to push out into some really odd corners into characters that can shoot from very long ways away. Although Boise State making fairly consistent progress as they're just able to march up the board right behind Strider, able to get right into the action as Sonic gets dove on, but the sword misses. Clear is not able to find a clean cut. And Boise State is not able to find anything before Strider goes down, but no Sam going down low. Unfortunately for Clear, Teddy is going to find what he could not.
Boise State getting wiped out here. Maxwell just has to race back and wait for his team to get respawned. Almost at that first checkpoint, making really good time actually. Now 3 minutes left on the clock. Maxwell still having to fight just a little bit he can before his team comes into play as everyone starts to race on in. You can see that Lucio telling him to say, let's go. But
the sticky bombs. Oh, from around the corner was just enough damage, just at the cusp of dealing enough damage to get him through. PDK going to take Maxwell down, and Lyric as well to follow. Strider forced back into spawn. Sigma's good on this map, but maybe it might not be the answer. No,
it's really not.
An interesting pick, especially without the movement from a character like Symmetra, Boise State already kind of struggling to get their ultimates on the board, whereas Utah is finding themselves with almost 4.
Got to get back onto this point, try to make a push, but for some reason nothing is connecting, and it almost feels disconnected here. They're kind of they're trying to figure out how they want to push this effort, but right now it's just not going to happen as NoSam gets 2. Sonic and Ray are tag teaming for more, and Boise State go down. Hex is the only one alive, but he's just waiting in spawn for his team.
Yeah, no one has been able to push very far up. It's all been kind of stunted right at the beginning. That's where Sigma really comes in handy on the defense here. He's just able to deal with so much damage from so far away, then assisted by characters like Wu Yang and Echo, who just have so much range. It makes it really hard for attackers to really get up. Out comes the overclock from Maxwell on the Sojourn. He's going to find anything, unfortunately not, just too much damage resistance from a little bit of Sonic, a little bit of Ray, and PDK is going to find Maxwell, but quick to fall as well. Hex is going to go down to Ray, and the Gravitic Flux is not going to save NoSam. Clear going up and taking people down as Tedia is not able to live. Ray is the last one alive, taking one bout with him. But at this point, Boise State is in a good spot to take this one unless Utah gets close enough, fast enough, and they might just let Boise State take this one, but knowing Utah, probably not.
Probably not indeed, but still, great push approaching that first checkpoint. Got to regroup, got to regain. You're looking at yourself and you're thinking, this is the Utah team that has been fighting us these past 2 games really hard, and this is the final bout of Bob.
Not what you want to see. Hex also falling to PDK. NoSam taking Strider down as well. This is not what you want to see with 20 seconds left on the clock. The touch out of Maxwell. I think he wanted to touch it for just a little bit more time than he got, but they're going to have to make do with what they got as Strider forced to come back and try again. He's going in like the meteor he is. He gets the touch, and this is where it all comes down. Is this going to be the farthest they push? Out comes the overclock from PDK. Is it going to find anyone? No, but Ray is going to get a pick onto Clear early. Not what you want to see as Strider is taken down right before his adaptive shield comes back. Teddy finding Hex. NoSam on Lyric. Maxwell trying to stick to the point, but overtime continues to tick, and Boise State is going to be stopped right before the first point. Oh, Utah moving on to attack. Boise State in a rough spot, but that first corner can be a good spot to hold as long as you can keep them there.
And keeping them there is going to be the name of the game here. They're going to start picking their characters, but we got to look back on this. This was Boise State being held in their own pretty much spawn. They didn't make it too far past that. I think Utah did a great job of keeping them there. There was a couple of good moments out of Boise State, getting a couple kills, but it's a matter of keeping that damage and pressure up that they just couldn't manage to keep. Utah doing a great job at that.
First point of Circuit Royale is one of the most brutal first points in the entire game, second to only Route 66 in my opinion. Being just having so much high ground to work with, having so many angles to attack from, it gives characters with a lot of range, a lot of explosive power. Characters like Sigma, like Echo, characters that we would have expected to be banned here, a lot more leeway than many players are willing to give. I do like the attempt out of Boise State trying to run the Zarya, trying to sort of out-ramp their opponents. Sure, you can shoot me a lot, but that's also going to allow me to run through you easier. However, just a little bit too much damage for a Kiriko Lucio backline to support.
This is, I mean, this is how you want a Game 5 to go. It's neck and neck. Boise State didn't just walk their way down to the finish line. It's keeping them close, and now they have a precedent to keep here. They are the ones fighting on defense. They need to make a good stop here. They need to get that Sigma out of the way. They need to get NoSam off the field because he's being a menace.
Definitely, and with Clear on the Sojourn instead of Maxwell this time, it'll be a little bit different. And Strider
just what I was saying.
Yeah, just
get
like
him out of there.
Get him out of there early, get him out of there strong, and Strider is just going to make big strides forward as he's going to catch PDK out. And unfortunately, he's no PGE. He can't survive being out of places for very long.
No, not even close. But right now, they're just going to hound this point. They are going to be holding this. Only 3 minutes now left. They need to keep this going. Sigma now reaching the point on the side of NoSam. able to get there, keep it going.
Yeah, Hex's Wu Yang on this map, especially on defense, I like. The thing is about Wu Yang is that you can take a lot of different angles and still get a lot of value, even if you can't see your opponent, since you are able to curve your shots with your crosshair. It's why you see him moving his mouse quite a bit. Clear is going to go down to PDK. That is a lot of damage gone from Boise State. However, with an overclock out of Maxwell, he's able to still put up quite a bit of pressure, but no Sam doing a lot of work to push people back, as all of Boise State is kind of hurting.
Kind of hurting and kind of being pushed back. I mean, you can see that payload making great strides right now. It is getting closer and closer to that yellow box you see right on the screen. It's getting pretty dang close, but they need to make a last-second push right here, right now, before it even ends.
Oh, he got there, but no one's behind him! Boise State C9s in Utah gets the win, capturing the point and taking the first win of the spring semester from the previous champs. What a game out of Utah, and what an unexpected end.
Unexpected, but well-deserved. Utah showing that they put in the work over this last Christmas break, showing that they are not here to stay in the middle of the pack as they get a win and progress higher into the standings. Now at a 5-3 record.
I mean, what can you say other than an absolute game? I mean, what a close series between the two teams. It came out to be a Utah victory, but a hard-fought victory at that. It was not one-sided at all from either side. Both of these guys fought very, very hard. However, Utah, in the end, they played a little bit better, they positioned a little bit better, and in the end, I think picked a little better characters as well, and that allowed them to really take this one home. Congratulations to Utah for the win. That was an incredible game to watch, and arguably one of the best ones we've seen out of the entire PEC season.
Absolutely. I mean, just to start off the spring with almost a reverse sweep out of Boise State, but for Utah to just deny them at the last second, I feel like this is what you want to see out of a league like this, with so many top teams coming into it and so much diversity and unexpectedness. It's amazing to see.
Something that I would like to point out, because I think we're going to see a new power shift in the PEC. It's called the Power Esports Conference, but no power ever stays in line for long. I kind of wrote, I'm going to be honest with you, I wrote Utah off at the beginning of the PEC. I didn't think they were anything to look at. However, after last season, and especially after this game, I think they're going to be one of those teams you got to keep your eye on. You can't count out the Utah school just yet.
Not quite yet, but we do want to shout out Boise State Extended Studies. Get your degree on a schedule that works for you. Boise State Extended Studies offers a variety of fully online courses and degrees to help you get your degree on your schedule. Visit boisestate.edu/extended studies for more details. And I think on that note as well, we are going to send it off here with our top 5 plays. Thank you so much for watching. Congratulations to Utah. And after we see our top 5 in a short break, we will be back with a quick interview with one of our players. So stick around. We will be right back. Then, just like that, supports and DPS are going to be going off the map as well. Lucio getting chased all the way down, and it's just Teddy Apaya fighting on that Genji before they get killed. Just like that. It's down to it. Strider with 2. It's going to be able to
for him to come back, but we'd like to point out, we got 3 ultimates on the board for Boise State. We have no ultimates on the board for Utah. No Sam coming very close to his first ultimate of the match. I don't blame him too much. Oh my God!
Lyric!
I doubt we're going to see that again as he's doing a little bit of tricky play. There it is. Who's he going to find? It doesn't find anything, but it forces people off the point. The
and now he's in his own ult.
On.
Oh, but
Sonic goes down. That's 2.
My friends know me as Derek, but I'm also Master Sergeant Raxter. This is my life in the Air National Guard.
It's me, your Idaho Central Credit Union app. Rough morning. Is that a mobile deposit? I got this. Beat it, Charlie. We're making money moves here. Cha-ching. And done.
Charlie, come on. Outside.
Sorry about the mess. I'd help if I had hands. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. Is finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great? Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Ow, 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 ow. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Since you guys have been in here, some things have changed. We've updated this place to be in its final form. New cabinets, new counters, all sorts of new stuff in here. This has turned into a place that wouldn't look out of place at an SEC or Big Ten football facility, and Dairy West has allowed us to have it here. We've taken a holistic approach to our player nutrition, and we're really thankful that Dairy West has made sure that our fueling station is the best in college esports and really at industry standard for any college athletic department.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Boise State Esports Arena, coming off a thrilling 5-map series. Utah versus Boise State. Utah taking the win 3-2, but overall still an incredibly close game. And I'm actually joined in a post-game interview by our very own Lyric. And just a quick question: do you have any big takeaways from this game? I mean, a lot happened. It was really, really good 5-map series, and I bet there's a lot of stuff we could talk about, but anything really big that you'd like to point out?
Yeah, Bryce, thanks for having me. First, well, I guess we played a match last week, but
yeah,
we're still getting used to the new meta and checking off some rust. Lots of new characters to figure out, play styles. It's looking bright. We got a lot of work to do. Disappointing loss, but overall lots of glimmers of good skill, good team play. So we're feeling pretty decent, all things considered.
Yeah, and you were talking about a little bit before the show about the new meta changes. As we all know, new season just came out, or I say just came out. It's been like 2, 3, 4 weeks. Still fairly fresh. A lot of new changes. A lot of stuff has been changing. How have you guys sort of been adapting to those changes? I mean, Vendetta's new to the game, or Vendetta's kind of got a new role in the game, and we saw a lot out of her tonight.
Yeah, so our team is
usually we play ball, so it's a lot of like diving, hitting, like playing pretty quick. With Vendetta, we tried to play pretty fast, and we found really quickly that it doesn't quite work with the rest of our team's playstyle. So we like throughout the match we were kind of experimenting with a few different playstyles, playing Vendetta fast, playing slow, kind of patient for the rest of our team, like walk, and we did see some better results with that. So we're gonna keep experimenting in practices throughout the next few weeks, and should be pretty good.
Yeah, that seems really good, and you know, sometimes it's the best thing you can do. You learn a lot more from a loss than you do from a win, and well, we all like to win. I know I like to win. I hate to lose, but we do learn a whole lot, and like it's like you were saying, we're kind of shaking off you guys are kind of shaking off the rust. You did play that one against Nebraska last week, but this one was a fairly significant jump in difficulty, and we saw that out of Utah. And overall, I just want to say it was a good game tonight. You guys all played your hearts out. Do you have any shout-outs that you'd like to give before we close out?
Yeah, for sure. I think Utah, good job tonight, guys. New roster this semester compared to last semester, and you guys played really well, so good job. And also, thanks to the rest of my team because everyone played their hearts out.
Yeah, what a game to close out the night on, and I will say there's a lot more to come from. That's all we have for Overwatch tonight. However, we still have Valorant tomorrow and Super Smash Bros. To close out on Thursday, and I believe we also have League of Legends that is starting up on Saturdays as well, so make sure that you tune into those because those are going to be starting up for all you League of Legends fans. One more time, if you guys haven't already, make sure you follow us on our socials at Boise State Esports, Overwatch, Rocket League, Valorant, and Super Smash Bros. We have different ones for every single one of those games. Make sure you follow us there for more BSU esports content. But for now, that's going to be all from me. Signing off for now.